The 1st of January, Rabbi Furst. Pierke Avos.
Hey, good morning. This, as Lou said, is Rabbi Shlomo Furst here, Yeshiva Tamanapshi, here in Yerushalayim, Zoom. We're learning in our first year. Pierke Avos, the 5th parak, the 7th Mishnah, seven things which we find characteristic of a goylem, and 7 things we see oppositely characteristic of a chacham. Okay, so let's see, I can put that on the screen maybe. Oh, there we go. Put that on the screen. We're on the 2nd page of the document, the Parish Rabbeinu Yonah al Avos. There you are. Okay. Yeah. Mary, you were gonna begin reading for us today, if you like.
Okay. It says Shiva Devarim Begolam. So that's what seven for a not so smart person, I guess.
Well, actually, it's not so much a problem. It's not a question of smart. It's a question of, I think, maturity, behavioral and personality maturity. Well, as we'll see, these things will be could be very smart, but there's a certain lack of maturity here, which makes him a little bit unfit for being called a chacham.
Oh, okay. So it says, Kol davar she'ein tzurato nigmeret nikra golam k'moshe ne'amar gilmei re'u einecha v'al sefarcha kalum yiktevu.
And this is a pasuk in Tehillim. Actually, we tried to look it up last week. Maybe give me a moment here. I'll try and find it exactly.
Hold it, Tehillim. What's that? 139 or something?
139 pasuk Tes Zion.
Let me go get my Tehillim too. Okay, 139, and it's pasuk Tet Zayin. That's 16.
Right. You have the pasuk there?
Uflamatis.
Right. It's 100, Tehillim 139, pasuk Tes Zion 116.
Says Gamira u'einecha al sfarcha kulam yikatevu. So he translates it. Well, that's just the first part of the verse. He says, your eyes saw my unshaped form, and in your book all are recorded.
Unshaped form. Right. So something still under construction, something still which is incomplete. That is this. That's called something which is goimly. Okay, so that's something also here. He may have certain very strong characters, and maybe, and as we'll see, people are asking him in questions. It's considered to be and have some type of wisdom, but his wisdom is not proportional to his maturity. So he's lacking a certain polish, a certain completeness.
Okay.
Okay, let's take a look further.
Okay. Kodem Tzurat Ivarim כך היודע מה שמלמדין אותו. So what, before the form of the limbs?
Right, exactly. Very good.
Okay. כך היודע. Thus is known what he will learn.
Right. He says here, he says, "Kach hayodea ma shalomdim," also. He knows, I think he knows what they're teaching him. Right? He knows what they're teaching them. If he's taught something, he'll be able to understand it.
Oh, okay. So they know what he's teaching him. Okay. Interesting. Good. Okay. V'lo yadat la'asot savara midato nikra golam she'ein hachmato nikrat
Nikeres.
nikaret.
Right, Nikeres. Meaning that he knows what he's being taught. That he has intelligence, but he doesn't know. He can't develop thoughts on his own.
Oh.
I remember when I was young in school, teachers say it's time to put on your thinking caps. Remember that? You ever hear that expression?
Yeah.
Yep.
We had that too.
They were trying to get us to think, let's sit there and time to start thinking.
Mhm.
Okay. Uliolam ein dato migat ligadur atzmo b'shiva devarim halalu.
And the oilam ain't daito migas, and really his das, his understanding doesn't allow him for him all. His das has not yet matured enough that he's giving himself the ability to restrain himself in these 7 different ways.
Oh.
Well, as we'll see, these 7 things, it takes a certain amount of restraint, a certain amount of personal discipline to achieve these 7 things.
Oh, okay. Okay, so let's see. Shiva devarim. Okay. Oh, okay. Shebehain me'inyan hachama umehem mimadot tovot v'chol perush ramzal. Uv'shiva hacham hayodea la'asot svara.
Right. That you have these 7 things which are they involve wisdom, and they are midas tovos. They're good traits to have, as Chazal explained. And the 7 things by a chacham, he knows how to do to swirl, also swirl, to basically knows how to think. He knows how to organize his thoughts.
Mhm.
Wow. Okay, good. So let's go on. His thoughts. Okay, so, second paragraph. Hacham eino medaber lifnei mi shegadol mimenu bechachma. Also, a Chacham knows not to speak before one that's greater than he is in wisdom.
Right. He's aware of the fact that if a person is greater than him in wisdom, there's what to learn from him. Right. So he's not so busy trying to speak his own mind, but rather he's trying to understand the mind of the one who's wiser than him.
Oh, okay. Let's see, going on. It says, Sheshimoa vishotek v'lomed v'hu hacham oseh. So he listens and he's quiet and learns, and that's a hacham that makes himself, I guess.
Right. Exactly.
Okay, so he listens. Okay. Ma she'ein kain b'golam ki lo yechpotz b'tuvuna ki im b'hitgalut libo ukemo shekatabnu lamala. Okay, so what ma she'ein?
And Mashenke means like in contrast to the golem.
Oh, okay. So in contrast to the, okay, to the golem, kilo yachpotz to vuna. Oh, that he doesn't. Yachpotz is want, isn't it?
Right. He's not nichpotz. Yeah, he's not nichpotz, but tavuna. Tavuna is like insight. He's not. He's not desiring insight.
Oh, so he doesn't desire insight. Okay. Because
if he would desire insight, like he would be listening to the person who's wiser than him, right?
Right.
Right. So it's apparent that he's not really desirous of gaining insight. Because if you have the benefit of being around the Chacham, so you'll try and understand what he has to teach you, and that'll give you even more wisdom than you have originally. Mashen Kane, in contrast, the Golem, he's not interested in gaining insight. Ki'in, go ahead, accept. Ki'in means accept.
Hit galut libo. What's that? Desires of his heart.
Well, his gal to reveal. He wants to reveal what's on his mind. What's on his mind. All he's interested in is revealing, letting other people know what's on his mind. Right.
Oh.
That's why he's not.
Kamosha Katabnu, as we, I guess, wrote up above. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
That's the first thing.
That's number one. Okay, so number two is the enenu nichnas bitoch divrei chavro. So what? He will not interrupt the words of his friend.
Right. If his friend's talking, so he'll, if he has something to say, he'll restrain himself until his friends finish talking, and then something to say, he'll say it then after the other person's done talking, but not to interrupt them in the middle of his words.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. Ki minhu, no, ki minihu, minicho, I guess. L'daber ad she'yisayim kol devarav. Oh, okay. Until he finishes speaking all his words, V'acharei kain, and afterwards, Yeshivahu Ma'ana. Okay, and afterwards he, I guess, gives his answer, Mana's answer, I guess, and that is a good trait. V'lo kain hagolam oseh ki meshiv davar b'terem yishma. Okay. And
Right,
what
so-
the one that doesn't understand?
Right, that the Chacham waits for his friend to stop speaking what he has to say, and afterwards he'll return with an answer from what his friend is saying. Be midah toiv, and that's a good midah. Locain begolem, it's not that way by a golem. Shasa ki meishiv davar terem yishma, that he responds immediately upon hearing something. Right, so he hears something from his friend speaking. He doesn't even wait for the person to finish his words. He's already responding in mid speech of his friend.
Wow. Okay, so that was number 2. Okay, number 3. Ve'eno nivhal l'hashiv she'eno mimaher l'hashiv ma'ana ki yeshlo luhu ad she'yishma kol hata'anot. Okay, so what, don't be in a rush to respond?
Right. The Chacham is not in a rush to respond. He's not quick to answer a given answer.
Okay. Yishma kol hata'anot, until he hears all the thoughts, I guess. B'chol asher ritzon hashoalim l'daber u'laharik b'she'ela v'yayin b'dvarim heitav. Okay.
Right. So he waits until the people asking the question have spoken, and he's listening to all of all the details about which they're wanting to ask him, and he allows them to lengthen in their question, and he's thinking, is ma'ayim b'devarim heitiv. He's thinking very deeply about what they have to say, and therefore he's also thinking very deeply about what they're saying.
Oh, okay. Okay. The ayiv hal piv libo el yimaher, or maybe al yimaher lahotzi davar ad yihiyeh bror kashemesh lefanav v'hu miderech hachma ki bazet tiyeh teshuvato nechona.
He's not quick to speak out something until it's bror or shemesh, until it's absolutely clear, like the sun in front of him. This is a wise path to choose. Because this will make sure that the answer he's going to give will be a proper answer.
Oh. Excuse me. Okay. So to give a proper answer. Okay. And number 4. Let's see. What show L Keinyan?
A lot of times, the people in discussions, if you ever have a chance to participate or to see discussions, a lot of times many of the points that they become the arguments are because the statements of one person not clearly understood, and had the person had a chance to speak his full mind, a lot of the points that have clarified later on would have been understood initially to be that way anyway. So a lot of times, if people are quick to answer and quick to respond, the person says one statement, people many times jump in and they start discussing and having arguments about a particular thing. And most of what the arguments and discussion are about could have really been avoided if you gave the person a sufficient chance to explain himself at the beginning. And it's even beneficial if you allow the person to explain himself sufficiently, because through his own explanation, you'll get a clarity on what he's saying. And if you have any specific questions, you'll be able to focus on those specific questions and ask him directly specific things to the point. You know, I don't know if they have them still. They used to have these radio shows, someone's talking and, they interrupt him and this and that, and they jump in to want to say their own ideas. Yeah, remember those things?
Yeah.
That to do with he doesn't break into speech of his fellow man, and questions to the point, replies properly. The story is told of an quote august personage, sorry, unquote, who rose to address a rabbinic meeting. After an hour and a half, he was still talking, refusing to relinquish his precious opportunity. Then he remarked, "I once heard a great scholar say," suddenly a listener called out, "That cannot be." There was a stunned silence. Sputtering with rage, the speaker shouted at his heckler, "How do you challenge me when I didn't even tell you what the great man said?" Replied the other, "You could never have heard any scholar say anything. You never give anyone else a chance to speak at all."
Very good.
But
Okay, very
more
good.
to the point, Rav, his questions to the point replies properly. The Talmud records that Rav once asked his teacher, Rev Yehuda Hanassi, a question about the violation and observance of the Shabbos, and he received a most satisfactory answer, whereupon Rav's uncle, Rev Chia, chided him. "Have I not told you, when Rabbi is in one area of study, do not question him about another?" But apparently he was talking about something else. "Perhaps it is not clear in his mind, for were Rabbi not a great man, you would have shamed him, as he would have given you an answer that was no answer." That's in Talmud Bavel, Shabbos 3ab. That's
Go on, do Shabbos. Okay. 3ab.
yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, yes, the human mind, the human mind can think about one thing at a time.
Right.
All right.
Very good. Very good. That's Yeah, you see, even with the, I mean, again, if Chazal are teaching this in Pirkei Avos, it's relevant for us as well, but it was also relevant for the time of the Gemara as well. The Tanaim and the Amorim lived by these words. These were the words what they modeled themselves after. For sure. Very good, very good. Okay, let's see.
Okay.
Guess that will bring us to number 4, Shol Ke'inyan, Meshiv Halacha.
Okay. Shoel kinyan umeshiv halacha.
Yep. Thank you.
Right.
Fifth one down. So what he asked about the matter, and then it's responded according to halacha.
That's right. If he's asking a question, he's going to ask a question which has to do with the topic being discussed, rather than some other topic which is not under consideration right now.
Ah. Okay.
So this is Perish, that's Reish Mem Zayin Lamed, means that's the reference to the Rambam Zal. Rambam.
Oh, that's the Rambam, Perush Rambam. Okay. Zekel Livracha. Shoel Ke'inyan im yishal latet lo tam lashum davar el yishal yishal el lefi hatam she'efshar latet oto davar lefi inyan midat davar hahu.
Right. That the Rambam explains Shol Ke'inyan. What does it mean to be Shol Ke'inyan? To ask according to the topic. Im Yishal, if he's going to ask the Seis Lo Tam, the Shum Davar, if he's going to ask about wanting to understand the reason for something, right? Tam, to understand the reason for something. If he's asking in order to get a reason for something, Al Yishal Ela Lefi Hatam She'efshar L'Seis Lo Sudavar. Don't ask except according to the topic which you're referring to. The fee ha'inyan midas davrahu, according to the type of thing which is under discussion.
Oh, okay. V'chein im she'aluhu meshiv kahalacha v'amar al rishon yalacharon acharon v'ein perusho sheyashiv al hadavar harishon b'rishon. Wow. Yah Sheila Achrona B'Achrona. Maybe I should stop there.
Right.
Okay.
So it says v'chein im ashiu, if they're going to ask you. The first part of the statement was if you're asking somebody else. So now the opposite, if someone's going to be asking you, v'chein im shalu, if they're going to ask you, meisiv kalacha, you should answer them according to the law. V'amra al rishon r'alachon rachon, and you should answer the first thing first and the last thing. Go ahead. Ain Pirusha, go ahead.
Okay. Let's see. Where did I? Okay. Ela im hashela rishon mitbareret b'davar acharon miberoto techila yacharei kain mivaer harishon kedei lahavin u'levarer teshuvato v'ta'aleh hadavar biyad hashomea.
So, okay, one second, what's this means? A bit. The ain perusho, the explanation. The explanation is not. Sheyeshiv al davar rishon berishona. It's not that you should be explaining the first thing initially, while shayla achrona ba'achrona, and on this the last question last, right? That's not the explanation. Elashim shala harishona niveres bedavar achron. Rather, it's talking about if the first question is going to be mevoeres bedavar achron. If the first question is going to become clarified through a ladder, something later following it, so techila, you should explain that thing first. Va'achri kain mivor rishon, and afterwards explain the first thing. Kedei lahavin levora techuvoso, in order it should be understood and clear your answer.
Again, if I may,
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
in Avot, the Rabbi Nathan, he gives example from Scripture. This is pertinent to the Chumash we've been reading. When Yaakov sent a gift to his brother Esau to appease his wrath and achieve a reconciliation, he told his servants, "When Esau, my brother, meets you and asks you, 'To whom do you belong? And where are you going? And whose are these before you?' Then you shall say, 'To your servant Yaakov, this is a present sent to my Lord, to Esau. Moreover, he is behind us.'" Expecting a multiple question from Esau, Yaakov taught his servants to reply in order. That's topical.
Yeah, very
in
good.
these weeks.
Rabbi, could you repeat what you explained a second ago? I didn't follow it.
Okay, one second, we'll get there. Hold on. So we see by Yaakov Avinu, right, that he was explaining to the people he sent to engage Esau, and he was teaching them. We learn from the way Yaakov Avinu told them to answer the questions that they may expect from Esau, and it was according to this this understanding of it's an illustration of this point here in the Mishnah. Okay, that's the Avos the Rabbi Nassan.
So that's what?
You were quoting the Avos the Rabbi Nassan, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, okay. Yeah. So, Lou, again, what was not clear?
Sorry, I was muted. It seemed.
You had a question, Lou?
Password 6 hours ago.
Yeah. Hold on. I'm sorry. 1 second. 1505 Beverwill or 723 for any changes I made. I was doing stuff on your computer.
Okay, because it messed up my phone. You think it's now back to 1505 Beverly?
Yes. Yeah. Sorry about that interruption. It seemed like you were saying there was some circumstances under which you did not answer them in the order they were asked. I wasn't clear what you were saying.
Yeah, that's it. It depends on what's going to achieve the maximum clarity. Sometimes you may get a series of questions. The general rule is you answer the first thing first, but sometimes if it's necessary to explain something later, to explain the secondary question first, that'll make the following answers more clear. So you have to use your judgment as to when it's not a hard and fast rule, in other words.
Okay, I see.
I mean,
Sometimes,
in general,
sorry, go on. Sorry.
in general, you answer the first thing first, second thing second. they have to be aware of if the questions are interrelated, right? Sometimes it's more beneficial to answer other things following than answering in the actual order of the way the question was posed.
Mm.
That's
Yes.
basically what he said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes you hear, thank you. Sometimes you hear in an interview multiple questions, and the interviewee says, "Oh, look, I'm going to answer the last question first." He doesn't, but he makes that quite clear.
Yeah, very good. That's right. Very good. And because there's usually a benefit in doing that. It'll help the general clarity of the response if you explain some other things which are asked even though they may be the questions, maybe secondary questions. Okay, very good. Let's see. Uma shelo shama, omer lo shamati. Let's take a look at that.
Oh, that's what that, oh, hold on, where are we now?
As I think about the third paragraph up from the bottom, maybe. Yeah.
Oh, okay. V'yama shelo shama, omer lo shamati. Okay, so what's this? And what he didn't hear him say?
What he did not hear, right? Something he did not hear, he says, I didn't hear. He doesn't.
Oh, okay. He says, I didn't hear. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. Ma shelo shama mipi rabo omer lo shamati. Raboti v'im yeshe lav svara b'davar omer aval kach yireh li. So what he didn't hear, what from the mouth of his Rebbe?
Right.
He says, I didn't hear.
Right.
From my Rebbe.
And if he didn't hear from his Rebbe, he'll tell you he didn't hear it.
Okay. And if yesh a love, what there is to him a answer, a reason.
Right. Well, it says v'im yesha lav svor b'davar. Let's say he does. He didn't hear anything from his Rebbeim about it, but he does have something to say on the subject.
Oh, okay. About kach yireh li.
Yeah, he'll say kach yearly. So it seems to me. I mean, you can't say he heard it from one of his Rebbeim, one of his teachers. But if he has something to say on the subject, he'll still say what it appears to me. And in my own personal opinion, it seems to be like this.
Okay. V'zeh hadavar hu min hamidot hatovot, and this is also from a very good characteristic. Asher lo yasig ba hagolam, that he did not, I guess, receive from the uneducated one.
Yeah, well, the golem hasn't achieved this yet.
Oh, the golem hasn't achieved. Oh, yasig. Okay. Okay. Next one.
Yeah.
Okay. Umodeh al ha'emet. So what? One should be thankful for the truth.
Well, here moda means to admit.
Oh.
You're thinking of hoda. Hoda means to thank, and moda means to admit.
Oh, okay. So admit the truth. Okay. Gam ki yicham leida lahashiv me'rov ta'anotav v'shekol devarav v'yachol listor ta'anat chaveiro ki lo nacham kemohu v'lo ya'aseh kain Emir et lo, oh, it's a long one. Ki ha'emet imo, ach yodea l'dvarav, v'lo yachosh min hanitzachon v'kavod, hu elav ki hi midat na'et u'mikubelet, v'golam lo yachshov b'zeh, v'adavar hu elav l'vizayon kishehu minutzach.
Right, so that first is modal emes. So gam ki yachim yochel hashiv marov tanosov, meaning he admits, meaning as we learned previously, if he had made a mistake or an error, right, he admits to the truth that it was a mistake, even though that he could through his own rationale bring proofs to prove his point, even though it's a false point, right? But if he made a mistake, he's understanding enough, he's wise enough to admit to his mistake and not to be embarrassed from it, right? So therefore, even though he's able, he's able to contradict the claims of his friend, because he's not really as smart as him, perhaps. Oh, Yasake, he still doesn't do it. If he knows his friend is right, even though he may be able to disprove him on certain points, he's not going to try and argue with his friend's arguments against him if he knows his friend is right. So therefore, he's going to simply admit to the truth, right?
Right.
Who he's not interested in being winning the debate and the honor that he gets from winning the debate. That's not his point. Meaning, what is it really worth to him if he knows really that his friend is right and he is wrong, but even though he may be able to in one way or the other prove apparently superficially that his friend is wrong and he is right, but if he knows in the truth is not really with him, so what does he really care about getting the honor and having the victory under those circumstances? It's all falsehood, right? It's a very a great virtue and very desirable. Right, and the Goyim, he's not really interested in this. Because all he's interested in understanding is the fact that if someone seems to contradict him successfully, that's going to be a bezoyan to him. So he's simply more interested in his own personal feelings than as to the truth of the actual thing which is being discussed or trying to be determined. So that's the real motivation. For the Goyim, the real motivation is his own covet and to escape from the embarrassment of being wrong. But the Chakam's not concerned about that. He's more concerned about that the truth of the matter comes to light. Okay, one more line.
Okay.
Excuse me, I have to leave. Thank you. I'll see you tomorrow, Murtashim.
Okay. You are Roy.
Right.
Okay. So the last line, Chilo Fehen Begolam. Ki Bechol Ella Ifshoa Asher Lo Binat Hacham Lo Lefi Sheino Shilem B'da'otav Uv'hachmato.
Right, and the opposite exists by a goylem. Ki b'kol elu, and all these things yifshe asher lo benis chacham lo lefi she'enu shalom b'daito v'chachmaso. All these things exist by the goylem because he has not yet been complete in his wisdom, because he's not yet shalom. He's not complete in his understanding and in his wisdom yet.
Uh, Wow.
All these different behaviors which are not from accessible to the goyim, but a chacham who's achieved wisdom already, he's functioning with these behaviors. Okay, very good. Thank you, Mayor. That was very good.
Okay. Well,
Let's
thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Let's take a little break and we'll start the Mr. Brewer's here soon.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Okay.
Thank you. We'll see you all soon.